Salutations, guys! Welcome back to my channel. So we're doing the 25 player FFA tier list. I think this game mode's super fun, so I've been playing it quite a bit, and I thought a tier list would be quite fun to make. So I'm gonna start from the bottom here of no chance of winning to best of the best. So let's just get right into it. So the first character in the no chance of winning is Hannah. So the issue with Hannah is that she just doesn't have enough powerful knockback to really kill anyone. Fortunately, I think she has an okay chance at maybe like stealing kills, but besides that, she doesn't really have any means of killing people. And that's going to be like the common theme with all the characters that go into the no chance of winning. So the next character is Sage. Sage is the same problem. I don't think he has a good way of killing groups of people or really doing any AoE damage or anything like that. So I think he falls there. Next up is Hamza. Hamza also goes into the no chance of winning. Hamza doesn't have any good AoE or anything like that. Same thing as Hannah and Sage. Next up is Poppy. She also goes here. Her kick is just not enough to really win a game. There's just no way that you're getting, what is it, 20 kills with Poppy? Like, there's just no way. Next up is Kusanagi. He also goes here. Kusanagi can potentially get a nice ult off and hit multiple people, but the issue with that is that Kusanagi has to work pretty hard to get his ultimate, and then the range of the ultimate is also relatively small, so there's a chance that even if you do get your ultimate, which is already going to be extremely hard without taking a ton of damage, that they just live through it anyways. Next up is Leroy. I would actually put Leroy a little bit higher, but the issue that I have with Leroy is that it's extremely hard for him to get his ultimate. You could potentially just try to like throw his fishing rod over and over and over again, get an ult, and then maybe hit it. And if you throw it in the middle of a group of people, you can actually potentially get a few kills, assuming they don't live through it. So, I mean, there's maybe potentially that, but I honestly don't see a Leroy ever winning a game. And the last character that goes into the no chance of winning, Zhao. Zhao's knockback is very single target for the most part, like especially in his ultimate. So I don't think that's very good for this type of 25 player, FFA, especially when there's so many explosions and so much like knockback going around. So now we're gonna do the would maybe work category. So I think these characters would have a slight chance of winning. And to start things off, I'm actually gonna move Leroy to the could maybe work. I think if Leroy can get a good ult and he can somehow do it consistently, then just maybe he could work. So the next character going into the could maybe work is Gunswo. So I think his ultimate's really good for hitting multiple like groups of people. You can also control the knockback on it. The issue with it is that Gunswo is gonna have a hard time getting it because his range is so like he's very like close range for the most part compared to like a lot of the other characters. Although Gunswo does have unique, which keeps him a little bit more safe. So maybe he spams unique, can get his ultimate, like he can hit a group of people with unique, and you get a ton of ultimate bunch of ultimate charge off of that. And then he can go try to spin, maybe get a few kills. I think it could potentially work. Next up is Dawn. Dawn could maybe work. If you can hit a nice ultimate, you can actually kill like a few people like per ult. And trying to hit people with Dawn, considering he's extremely close range, is extremely challenging. But I feel like a good experienced Dawn player can get his ult and then hit a nice decent ult on like maybe one or two people. And Dawn can get it really quickly, considering it only takes 4 attacks for him to do so. Next up is Mai. So Mai has a really nice range attack that can go through multiple people, and each person it goes through will give ultimate charge. So Mai can basically have her ult up all the time. And when Mai sees a group of people, she can potentially look to ult and hit multiple people with her dash. Now, I think that is a decent strategy, although it's not guaranteed to kill her or anything like that because she can't necessarily control the knockback. And Mai always has to be playing at a certain like range for it to work. Because if she tries going in melee, she's gonna get demolished by all the explosions and all that stuff. Next up, we have Fiona. So I think Fiona could maybe work. because her ult is quite strong in terms of like trying to kill people, and it does have a little bit of an AoE. She can also control the knockback on it, which is all very nice. The issue with it, well, with Fiona, is having to get your ult and then like actually like hitting it. So like even though it has a bit of an AoE, it is still like relatively hard to hit, especially with all the nonsense that's going to be going on with all the explosions and all. So I think if you want to be successful with Fiona, you have to really know what you're doing and you have to practice it quite a bit. Next up is Ryan. I think Ryan could maybe work because his ult would be really good at stealing kills. Anytime Ryan has his ult, he can definitely at least kill one person. So if he can somehow get his ult 20 times, then I think Ryan could just maybe work. Ryan also has the ability to hit multiple people with his range attack, so he can stay a little bit safe while trying to charge his ultimate and whatnot. So I think Ryan has potential. Next up is Synth. So this is a really like niche strategy that I thought of, but imagine you're playing Synth and you're trying to hook people underneath the stage. Now there are some times where people fight near the edges of the stages, so whenever you see that, it's a good opportunity to maybe look to hook people underneath the stage, and they're not going to be ready for it. And if you do it correctly, you can actually like pull people down and maybe get kills with it. So I'm not sure like how viable it is, but I think that could maybe work and it'd be really funny. Next up is Pak 2. So Pak 2 in his ultimate is great. He has his rings, which he can use to kill people quite easily, and then he also has this good old barrage punch. So in his ultimate, Pak 2 is actually quite deadly. The issue with Pak 2 is actually getting to his ultimate. So if Pak 2 can sort of like isolate a target and punch them with his basic attack, he can get his ult and look to kind of cause havoc afterwards. But I think that's going to be pretty difficult generally for Pak 2. Next up, we have the OK picks. So I think these are characters that have a okay chance of winning, but aren't like super duper viable. So the first up, we have Aloysius for the OK picks. So Aloysius can sit back and just spam his AKs, and he's extremely safe while doing so. He's also quite good at dueling if anyone comes to try to stop you from spamming. So Aloysius is quite safe most of the times. Once you get your ult, you can look to ult one or two people off at the same time, and you can sort of consistently get kills if you can, well, if you get good at it. So overall, I think Aloysius is really solid. Next up, we have Seth. So Seth has a unique property of being able to one-shot people. So Seth is quite close range, which in 25 FFA would be normally pretty bad, but he can actually stack a lot of damage on himself and then look to like go into a group of people and like one-shot them all. Seth can also cause a lot of havoc if he can get his ultimate, which is relatively easy to do in 25 player FFA. Seth can go into a group of people, use M2 and shield, potentially get a lot of ultra charge like that, or maybe take a duel with someone off on like the side islands and try to look to get ult charge that way as well. Once he gets his ult, he can look to just like go into a group of people, slap them all, and hope for the best. Although Seth has the ongoing weakness of that he has to get close, which is always a risk in 25 player FFA. And lastly, for OK picks, we have Construct. So I think Construct can actually work pretty decently because he always has some sort of type of knockback. So Construct can look to sort of like pick off the high HP targets and pressure them and edge guard them and all. I don't think Construct's going to be really in the center too much, but what something that people overlook about Construct is his dash. So he's knockback immune while he's dashing, so Construct can actually look to go into a group of people, dash in, try to get multiple hits off, which would basically like give him a good chunk of his ult like instantly, and then later on he can use the ult to get a pick. So I actually think Construct's pretty okay. Next up, we have the really solid picks. So I think these are characters that have a really good chance of winning, but aren't quite best of the best. The best of the best characters, I'll do them just by like a little bit. So first up, for really solid picks, Alina. So Alina is super fun to play because her basic attack shoots quite fast, and her bullets go through people. So each bullet can get multiple ult charge for you, and there's like some of them that you like shoot out like really quickly. So Alina can constantly have her ultimate. Not to mention her ult is basically a global laser beam. Like the range on it's huge, so you can hit multiple people with it constantly. And that's not even counting her M2, which can also hit multiple people and has quite a bit of knockback. Alina can also just throw down her turret like wherever. Like she could probably like throw it in like a group of people or something and get ult charge that way as well. So I think Alina has a lot of tools that really benefit her in 25 player FFA. Next up, we have Walter. So Walter's ultimate is really good because once you get it, you can basically affect the whole map almost with it. You can only hit each player once, so when you get your ult, you just want to look to hit as many people as you can, which can be really devastating. Walter also has a very good method for getting a lot of ult charge. Walter players will usually charge up their M2 and look to hit people like that. Try to aim for people who are in groups. If you can hit them with a fully charged M2, like at least like 2 or 3 people, you will literally instantly get your ultimate, or have your ultimate like be at like one tap where you just need to hit like one basic attack and you have your ult already. It literally takes Walter like less than a second to get his ultimate, and it's absolutely insane. So with the constant just like ults from Walter, you can put a lot of pressure on the entire map. The only downside to Walter is that sometimes people dodge or block your dash and sometimes delay you being able to get your ult. But besides that, Walter's really good. Lastly, we have Reyna for the really solid pick. So Reyna can constantly spam fully charged M1s, which can put a lot of pressure on people. Like just by doing that. Your arrows also can go through multiple people. And that same principle applies to her M2, so she can get her ultimate very quickly, just like how Elena can, and from a safe distance. Once she gets her ult, she can look to shoot it into a group of people and sort of stun lock a lot of people, while also like pushing them away. Because if you hit multiple people, well, if you hit someone with multiple of your ultimate arrows, they sort of get stun locked in a line, and that is really powerful for killing people. And you can do that to multiple people all at the same time, so Reyna is sort of insane. And lastly, we have the best of the best. These guys are the undisputed, like, SS tier characters that can probably win every game of 25 player FFA they play. So Charlemagne, you can get his ultimate extremely quickly with his cubes, because you can hit multiple people per cast, not to mention you can spam it really quickly. Once you have your ult, you just go into a group of people, press ult, and then you knock back whoever, and you just repeat the process over and over and over again. And it's so impressive, because anytime you see anyone group up, even if it's just 2 people, it's really good for you, let alone if there's 3 or 4. And lastly, Arash. I never thought I would actually say that Arash is top tier at something, but so Arash is also disgustingly good in this game mode because he just throws grenades in that whatever crowd. He just spams them around and people don't pay attention at all because there's so much going on. Anyways, yeah, sorry guys, I got interrupted there, but basically what I'm trying to say is that Arash is really strong. He throws grenades in the crowds of people. His ultimate is also very nice because you attach a bomb to someone and then they run around and do whatever, and then they'll usually run into other people to spread their chaos even more. So Arash is just constantly like really strong. Like he doesn't even need his ultimate to really like win FFA. But yeah guys, that's the tier list. Let me know what you guys think. I had a lot of fun kind of like thinking about this and making this. Obviously, it's not like factual or anything like that. It's just like my opinion, and I thought this would be a fun thing to do, so yeah. If you guys haven't already, you should check out the new characters that I showcased in my last video, Luffy and Zoro. Or, if you want something a bit different, check out my How to Destroy People on Siege guide. Thank you guys for watching.